I hope more songwriters get a chance to write musicals, because it is the biggest risk. I mean, it's 10 years of your life or more, but it's such a huge reward. And you are really threading the eye of a needle. I mean,
So true.
it's way harder to get a show on Broadway than it is to get a song on the radio.
Yeah.
To get a hit song on the radio. It's
Right.
just, the numbers are so small of what really makes it. And when I sit and think about that, I can get really emotional, because I just think, wow, we did it.
I do think there was a moment where we really had to let go of the idea that we were writing for Broadway, because we were losing sight of just how amazing the journey was. Because we were so focused. It's much like writing songs in the commercial world and thinking that radio is the only place that you can be satisfied. And I think we got to a place where we were just trying to finish it and make it great, and wanting to hold on to the time that we got to live in that world. So the fact that it went to Broadway, although we always had our eyes on that and really wanted it, there was a moment of letting go of the possibility of that, because it is so unlikely.
Well, we were lucky. We worked with a book writer named Robert Horn, who really always encouraged us to just be ourselves. I think the biggest challenge was we've grown up learning to tell stories in 3.5 minutes, and this was 2.5, 3 hours. So we could tell just little bits of the story. Like our opening number is 7 minutes long. It's called Corn. It's just a celebration of corn. And so we had to, it was a tough challenge, but it was a fun.
Because we couldn't tell any more than about corn, because
Yep.
nobody knows anything yet. And anytime you start to get too specific in those opening numbers like that, they would say, well, we don't know that yet. We haven't met that person. That was an amazing challenge. Thank God we had each other. I would have quit 100 times through the years. We really were just so blessed that we got to do this. There were so many phone calls where I was like, I'm done. And she would be like, let's go one more round.
See, and I don't remember it. I always felt like it was me until the day that Shane was like, I can't write another song for this. And I thought, well, man, I don't feel so crazy anymore. There were times where I know I would think, is this gonna ever get off the ground?
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that it opened on Broadway, that it was nominated for 9 Tonys, that it's part of this exhibit, it's a miracle, and it's a testament to our relationship.
Yeah.
You know, because it was a long journey. And I remember our director, Jack O'Brien, saying, now kids, we're gonna have some tough previews. And so I realized in that first preview, when people stood up, when Alex Newell sang Independently Owned, that got a standing ovation mid-first act. And then at the end of it, they stood forever. I cried for 24 hours because I realized I had prepared myself for it to not succeed. I'll never do that again. But so to me,
it was self-preservation.
Yeah.
I mean, we had so much invested, so many years, and I think people do have to protect themselves to some degree. You know, you just have to assume that it won't be received the way it was. I mean, that night particularly, I mean, I besides the birth of my children, I mean, honestly, that was the best night of my life. There was just a minute after that particular moment when that song happened, and I mean, we were sitting next to each other. I don't remember exactly what I said. I know I mentioned I felt like I was off the ground. I think it's hard when you're in the middle of something to see it as a historic thing, because that feels like too big of a statement when it's actually happening in real time. But seeing it alongside these things that are truly historic, people must feel that way.